Hey, I'm Justin with Cognito Motorsports. Today I'm going to show you the ins and outs of our 3-inch performance leveling kit for the 2020 and up, 2500 HD, 3500 HD. First I want to show you the parts that come in this 3-inch performance leveling kit. It's got our SM series upper control arms, the Torsion Bar Adjuster Keys, and front and rear Fox 2.0 Performance Series shocks. There's your rear shocks, there's your front shocks. I want to give you a couple details on the SM series upper control arms. A lot of people ask, do I need the upper control arms? Well, technically yes you do, because there are some things that we build into these upper control arms that allow you more droop travel and things like that. So here's the stock arm, here's the Cognito SM series arm. One of the major things we do is we take this ball joint angle right here and we rotate it for a leveled application. That way we're not binding the ball joint down at droop. So in order to get extra droop travel and to use that droop travel for ride height, we need to correct ball joint angle. We also need longer shocks. So here's our Fox shock. We take a Fox shock that is used for an application that has no aftermarket upper control arm. We add the proper length spacer on it to get the proper extended length of the shock, because the shock is your droop travel limiter. So if I lift the truck up off of the ground so the tires aren't touching, what's holding the suspension up is this front shock absorber. So along with that length of shock and this upper control arm setup, we are going to get a 3-inch leveling kit, but we're going to maintain 3 inches of droop travel so we have that awesome ride. Another feature of our upper control arm is we add a little bit of caster. So we take this ball joint, move it rearward in the arm about a 1/2 inch. That improves caster, so it essentially increases caster. You get better drivability down the highway at higher speeds. This is what's entailed in that 3-inch performance leveling kit. We're going to add a premier item onto it as well though. We're going to add our Pitman and Idler arm support kit to that as well. What's really important here to understand is whenever you take a stock truck like the one I'm about to show you, where the tie rod angles are flat, okay, so you have your center link, your Pitman arms and Idler arms, your tie rod angles are flat going out to your wheels. When we level this truck, tie rod angles are going to increase. Now these tie rods are pushing on this center link, it wears out Pitman and Idler arms, you can't hold a toe setting. That's what this Pitman and Idler arm support kit does. This is a patented item that we came up with back in 2007. This will fix that problem with Pitman and Idler arms. It's really inherent on leveled trucks with independent front suspension where the tie rod angle is now increased. This is a must-have item. Let's take a look at our truck now. It's right here. So we've got a 2021 Chevy 3500 HD. As far as this kit goes, 2500 HD, 3500 HD, it's the same kit. Now, as I've been preaching lately, droop travel is really important. A lot of people will take and they want to get a 3-inch leveling kit, but then they end up taking it up 5 or 6 inches. They have no droop travel. Truck rides like junk. They're tearing up parts. And then who gets blamed? What's really important is you keep 3 inches of droop travel minimum so that all your suspension parts are going to last and you get a good quality ride. So really easy to measure droop travel. We just pulled this truck in, have not lifted it up yet at all. Top of tire to bottom of fender well, I've got 8 1/8 of an inch, okay? I've already measured the rear. In the rear I have 9 3/8 of an inch. Kind of a weird thing to think about with these trucks and leveling them is the front fender wells are cut higher on the fender than the rear fender wells. So our bed rails, if you can see in the background, are really raked down. This truck has a lot of rake down to it, but I'm only like 1 1/4 inches off fender well gap front and rear. Rear is only 1 1/4 inches higher. There's a happy medium between seeing what the bed rails look like and what the fender wells look like, and we'll show you that when we're done here. But right now, we've got 8 1/8 inches there, like I just measured. I'm going to lift this truck up, show you how to finish measuring droop travel. So I'm going to lift it up till the tire is off the ground. My tire is off the ground now. I will measure that again. Top of tire to bottom of fender well. I've got about 11 3/8 of an inch. So I had 8 1/8, I got 11 3/8. my difference is 3 1/4 inch. So stock, it has 3 1/4 inches of droop travel. Important not to screw that up. People want a leveling kit, but they want a stock ride. Guess what? You need stock droop travel. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on this truck, getting these items on there, and then I'm gonna show you a little bit of ins and outs on the install, and then we'll get some bigger wheels and tires on this thing. Okay, we now have all of our leveling kit parts installed on this truck. Again, this is the 3-inch performance leveling kit. So it's got the Fox 2.0 shocks, front and rear. Also has the upper control arm here. We have a lot more droop than we did stock right now because of the length of shock with its spacers that we include. And the way we're able to handle that extra length is because we've corrected the ball joint angle in the A-arm. Aside from that as well, we've also installed our steering kit. We've also trimmed the service perch, which is in the instructions. You got to leave plenty of room for this arm to be able to droop down that far. So at this point, we're ready to put a tire on this thing. I'm going to put the stock tires back on it so I can show you the measurements and relate them to earlier when the truck was stock. Okay, I put the stock wheel and tire back on the truck for now, just so I can show you the measurements and how they differed from earlier. But earlier when it was stock, we had 11 3/8 inches from tire to fender well. So now with the leveling kit on there, we've got about 13 3/4 inches. So not quite 3 inches more droop, but between what we're gonna gain in the lift and use up a little bit of the stock droop travel because we had 3 1/4 inches, we're gonna get roughly 2 3/4 to a 3-inch leveling kit. Important, before you set the truck on the ground, we're in the air right now, full droop, take that measurement, top of tire to fender well, record it. Okay, we've got our ride height set. We've got the truck leveled as far as settled down, so that's why we pulled the truck in and out. We had 13 3/4 inches here at full droop. Just gonna take my final measurement. I've got right about 10 3/4, 10 7/8 inch, roughly 3 inches of droop travel. That's exactly what we need for a really good ride. I wanted to show you those numbers with the stock wheels and tires so you could reference them to earlier. Remember, stock, we had 11 3/8 inch here. So we got about 2 3/4 inches of lift in this leveling kit with 3 inches left of droop travel. So right about 3-inch leveling kit. So with this setup right here, we have a really level truck. Front fender well gap is still about 1 inch taller than the rear fender well gap now, but bed rail's still slightly going downhill a little bit, but we would consider this a leveled truck. Next, we're going to put the new wheels and tires on, and I'm going to tell you what you can fit on them and what you got to trim. Stand by. Okay, our truck is all done. It's got the bigger wheels and tires on it now. So we chose a 285 75/18 Toyo Open Country tire, a Method race wheels 18x9, and this wheel has a positive 18mm offset. Now you could run an 18x9 or a 20x9 with 0 offset. The tire will stick out 3/4 of an inch more than this one will. But this is a pretty good setup right here. Now, something I want to show you as far as clearance goes, a lot of people think, oh, I can get a bigger tire on there or a wider wheel. You have to think about clearance when you're turning. So take a look right in here at how the clearance gets soaked up when I turn. So when I turn the steering wheel, that clearance gets soaked up. That's about how much you need. That way if you go through a driveway or a speed bump turning, you don't hit your tire doesn't hit the inner fender well. Same with the front. You see how that clearance gets sucked up there? So you gotta have enough room. That 0mm offset, you're gonna have a little less clearance than that. So you might have to do a little bit more trimming. The trimming on this truck was not bad at all. It took 5 minutes. Now a lot of people are trying to put 12-inch wide wheels, 14-inch wide wheels. You can't do that with a leveling kit. You need to buy a lift kit. If you're running a wheel that wide, you gotta get up above the wheel and the tire. When you turn, that wide 12-inch or 14-inch wide wheel would be banging right into here. I've seen shops, they just turn the torsion bars up more. Now you have 0 droop travel. Now you're tearing up parts on your truck and you're blaming the suspension manufacturer. The truck has to be set up properly. This truck right here will ride as good, if not better than stock, because it's got a high quality shock. It's got a minimum 3 inches of droop travel, a really good truck, leveled, 35s, 18x9s. This customer is really going to enjoy this one. Thanks for following along.